All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rechak Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. As you brothers know, I usually like to do my shows outside, but that hurricane or whatever the hell it is not it's like off and on rain, so I can't go where I normally go to do the lessons. But this lesson is pretty much based off of an article that I have from Blacklisted News, and we're going to get into the article, Lord's will, and hit some precepts. Pretty much this article is pretty much explaining how this New World Order, they pretty much changed the name from the New World Order to a view of the deadly world order, which we'll show you in a second. But this pretty much is just the demise of the empire called America, because pretty much America pretty much already had its run. She's outlasted her usefulness, and now it's time for America to go down. All right, so what I have here, let me click over. What I have here is something called, this is from Blacklisted News. It says a view of the deadly world order, published September 16, 2018. So that was a couple of days ago. I ran into this, I believe yesterday, but I didn't, or either yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure what day it was, but I didn't really get a chance to read it, and I was reading some of it today, so I want to be able to go through it. I started reading some of it, and precepts started coming to mind. So I said, you know what? Let me stop reading. Let me just do the lesson, and that way, Lord's will, Spirit will feed me with more precepts. And as always, I know you brothers, you when the Spirit hits you, you put up precepts on the comment board. But it says, source, a New Eastern Outlook. It says the outlook for humanity is not good. Crises that should by now not even exist in the 21st century, they now affect every man, woman, and child on the planet. Why? Because the wicked are bearing rule. And the lesson, we did yesterday, we were reading some of those precepts in the book of Proverbs, the 29th chapter, how when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. So this is affecting everybody on the planet. Why? Because it's done by design. These devils that are in rulership, they are doing this by design. They are actually pushing an agenda that they have to pretty much make the people of the planet sick, having always to go to the doctors, because going to the hospital and being on medication, getting surgery, getting chemotherapy and all that, that's big money for the international bankers. So they don't want the people healthy, they want the people sick, and the reason why, this is the reason why those holistic doctors are being pretty much murdered. They're saying that they're dying of this or that and other, but they're really pretty much being murdered, because they offer a solution that's cheaper for people to be able to get better, and they don't want people to be better. That's why the big pharma, as they call it, is nothing more than legalized drug dealing, legalized drug sales, and that's a big business and a big market, So it says, still, reality never really sinks in for the people of the world. And why is it that reality never sinks in for the people of the world? Well, let's go to a couple of precepts on that. Just bear with me. And just trying to, get the precepts as they come into mind. All right, Isaiah 25:7, it says, and he will destroy. Matter of fact, before I read that one, let me go to Isaiah 60. Isaiah chapter 60, And I read 2. Matter of fact, I'll start at 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come. Now, who is this speaking to? This is the Most High speaking to the elect of the nation of Israel. Arise, shine, for thy light is come. Why? Because for a long time, we all fell asleep and we were sleeping. This is why you have the parable of the foolish virgins and the wise virgins, or the parable of the virgins, which Elder Apostle Tara always goes into this. I mean, ever since I met the man, he's always gone into this parable. This is like, I mean, I'm not sure, but I believe this is one of his favorite parables, that Yahushua taught, because he's always going to this, because this says a whole lot. So Matthew, I'm going to read this real quick. Matthew 25:1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamp and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And the reason why they took lamps is because there was darkness in the world. The world was dark. It was an old darkness from the time Yahushua was crucified and went back in the spirit world, and those great men that were with him went back in the spirit world. The world was in total darkness, for a period of time. And it wasn't until really recent, into the 1900s, that the truth really started to be magnified. This is 2nd Ezra 7:25. And therefore Ezra, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear. Who is the bride? We're the bride, and Yahushua is the bridegroom, and she coming forth shall be seen. Why? Because, like the scriptures say, arise, shine, for thy light is come. And this is the reason why we're not supposed to hide this wisdom in her perfection and her beauty. Isaiah 52:1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion, because the Most High has caused, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has caused this yoke that's of iron in our minds to those chains to be broken. And how are those chains broken in our mind? Through the scriptures. Isaiah chapter 10 verse 27, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, because we no longer are serving a physical slavery, a physical slavery as we did in the past, as our forefathers did in the past, but we're serving right now a mental slavery, which is done through contractual, or through contracts. When you understand the 14th Amendment, it's all done voluntary, because the 13th Amendment says neither servitude nor involuntary slavery, or neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist. So it said nothing about voluntary, because everything now is done voluntarily. This is why they have all these contracts out, and the first contract that makes us slaves is the birth certificate. Then after that, everything else that you have to get in this world, in this society, to so-called be legit. All right. So it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck, and the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing, because of this truth, because this truth is the oil. This truth is the anointing, and Yahushua is the one that's sharing it out to each individual brother that's a part of the body. All right. So it says, shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. So now we're no longer mentally captives anymore. The Lord has opened up our minds and made our minds to shine. I believe I know there's one in Matthew and Luke. Let's see. All right. You want to play rough? Okay. My goodness. This shit is just being demonic. Yeah, this blue letter is like real sensitive. You know, if you don't hit it just right, if you don't, you know, type in the exact words, it won't work with you. It won't give you like a, you know, like a little bit of a no breaks, nothing. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Well, you brothers know the scripture. If y'all brothers know where it says, you can post it up. You know, let your loins show shine before men. All right. So this is what's happening right now. The Most High is causing his light to shine. You know, the oil that's in the men of the Lord are burning brightly now. You know, and you're starting to discern who are the men of the Lord and who are not. You know, and hopefully, you know, as we say, we're, you know, members of the hopeful elect. Hopefully, we are the elect, and the Lord keeps that spirit on us all the way to the end. So back in Matthew, it says 25:1, then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 of them were foolish. Yeah, that's a good one. The brother one from Wisconsin, 2 Corinthians 4:6, for the Most High who commanded the light to shine out of darkness have shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And that's true, you know. So the 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish, right? They that were foolish took the lamps and took no oil with them, you know. So this is a parable. That's it right there. GMS Inquire Early. That's a brother from Detroit. Salaki, brother. I don't remember your name. There's so many brothers out there, so many Hebrew names. Salaki. Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe a verse above that, it says your loins, let your loins be girded about with truth or something like that. And if not that one, it's in Luke. But those are all good scriptures. You know, so right now the light is shining. It says, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. And this is why the wise are constantly doing what the Lord told them to do. Why? Because, oh, there it goes. GMS feed the flock. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning. There you go. You know, so all of those are good because right now this is what's happening. You know, so the majority of people of the world are in darkness, but those that are called and are hoping to be the elect, you know, have the light. You know, these lamps are shining brightly, and it's shining so bright that Esau is getting upset. He's getting all mad and bent up and twisted out of shape. It says, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. You know, so he's getting upset. Why? Because he is not of the light. He is of the darkness. This is St. John 3 and 18. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son. And that's a key factor. The Most High's name and Yahweh Shai's name are very key, you know, in this truth. And it's not talking about no Jesus Christ, Jehovah, none of that. It's talking about Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. It says, and this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. See, so these people, their deeds are evil, so they don't want to be reproved. And a brother like a great millstone put 1 Thessalonians 5:5, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. And that's right. And we're not of darkness, you know, because the Lord opened up our minds. You know, so their deeds are evil, so they don't want reproof. For everyone that doeth evil hated the light. And this is why this light shining on Esau, he's getting mad. You know, it's just like if you dead sleep in a dark room and all of a sudden somebody turns the light on, you be like, what the fuck, you know? Well, that's how Esau is when we bring the truth out on his ass. You know, he's like, what the hell is going on? Turn that light off, you know? He's trying to scurry like them roaches when you turn the lights on, because he is a roach. He's a cockroach, you know? It says, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. So this is dealing with Israel, but as a whole, people in the world do not want to do the right thing. They want to do whatever the hell pleases them. You know, so this is why we're reading in Matthew 25. It says, while the bridegroom tarried, which is Yahushua, they all slumbered and slept, because there was a time period where all of the men of the Lord all fell asleep and the world went into darkness. This is where it says here in 2 Ezra 7:26, behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride, which is Israel, the elect, shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen. Why? Because of that light that's going to be shining, that now is withdrawn from the earth. Why? Because for a long time we were known as what? The outcasts. We were known as niggas, spics. We were known, you know, by proverbs and bywords. We were ridiculed. We at the bottom, you know. So this has been an ongoing thing, an ongoing cycle, to where Esau done beat this into the minds of Jake so much that Jake really believes that. That's why there's a term called inculcation. Matter of fact, since we're here, I'll just put in inculcate, see if I haven't looked this word up in order. Okay, with a C. Inculcate. Instill an attitude, idea, or habit by persistent instruction. So it's to press upon the mind by constant repetition. Now let's see if they have the etymology of this word. Just bear with me. I like to go. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if they. Oh, here we go. Inculcat, to force upon. In is on, and calcara, to trample. And how do you trample something? By constantly repeating it over and over and over again. It's a constant repetition. So Esau, with his demonic ways, has trampled, you know, the truth. I'm sorry, his lies into Jake by a constant repetition. So if you're constantly told that you're nothing, guess what? After a while, you're gonna start believing it. You know. Is it 59 or 57? Oops. Let me see. Just bear with me 1 second, brothers. Yeah, I hate when they keep switching the you know, this thing here, man. They always switch. They're always changing something, man. Fucking devils. Let's see if this is it. Oh boy. $51. Okay, it's Isaiah 51 and 20. It says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy power. Therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith the Lord power, the Lord Yahweh, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling. So now this cup of trembling is being taken away from us. Even the dregs of the cups of my fury, thou shalt no more drink it again. And it's being put what? Into Esau. This is why Esau is starting to feel those curses biting at them, you know. They ain't fully in it, but they starting to feel it biting at them, you know. It says, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. And that's what's happening right now. You know, but it's going to fully be implemented once the kingdom is established, which I have said to thy soul, bow down that we may go over. See, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as a street to them that went over. So now this happened physically, you know, these devils have done it physically, but now they're doing it mentally. And this is why the term inculcate is to impress upon the mind by constant repetition. And it says here, in is on, and calcare is to trample. And they have trampled us physically and mentally. And this is why Jake is in the condition and in the mentality that they're in now. It says, the bride shall appear, she coming forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. For my son Yahushai shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. Because this was during the time of Ezra. Ezra was on a scene somewhere around 400, 500 BC. You know, a period of time before the Messiah, Yahushua, was supposed to come on the scene. After these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life. And the life is what? This truth, this knowledge. This is the life. This is why when Yahushua said, look, he told the disciples, are you going to leave too? What the disciples say, look, where are we going to go, Lord? You have the words of eternal life. So these words are the life, you know. It says, and the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days. So for a period of, for what's the word I'm looking for? A complete amount of time, because the number 7 represents completion. So for a complete amount of time, the world was going to be turned into the old silence, which means what? It was going to be in darkness, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. Why? Because when you go back during the time of Adam, what happened? The tree of life was still open after Adam and his wife ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So what did the angel say? This Yahweh and the angel said, look, the man is become as one of us. At least he put forth his hand now into the tree of life and eat and live forever. You see? So this is why back then the tree of life was made dark to Adam and them. And then when Yahweh Shai came on the scene, which is Adam in the reincarnation, he brought the light again. And then after Yahweh Shai died and the men that were with him died, then it went back into the old darkness for a certain period of time. It says, and after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. So now 2/3 of Israel are going to die. Esau is going to die, but the elite are going to make it, because they're going to have to serve slavery. It says, and the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence. And the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. So everything is going to be known. There's not going to be anything that's going to be hidden in that day. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. So this is all going to take place, you know, in the midst of that reawakening, which we've been going through ever since the Spirit jumped on Elder Abba Bivens to break away from the commandment keepers and start teaching out of the New Testament, and the light started growing and growing and growing from there. It says, but judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. And this is the reason why brothers are out there teaching in that fervent spirit that they're teaching. Why? Because the faith is waxing strong, because we're coming to the very end of this devil's rulership, and the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be a force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. You know, so now let's go from there. Let's go back to Matthew. Let's finish up there. Matthew 25:5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight, which is what? The darkest part of the night, there was a cry made. So in the darkest part of the night, somebody yelled out. You know, I mean, this is, you know, it's dealing with the truth coming out. You know, but just so in layman's terms, it's like it's dead night, everybody's asleep, and somebody's yelling, right? Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. You know, so then what happens? You got to get out of the bed. You got to, you know, wipe the cold out your eyes. You got to get your bearings, you know, and get ready to meet the Lord. You know, so it says, and then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. So all of those virgins, in the midst of this going on, they woke up and they trimmed their lamps, which represents what? Represents the truth. Now, a lamp will give plenty of light to everybody in the house, but there has to be oil in it. Because if there's no oil in the lamp, guess what? That's a badass lamp. It burns brightly, but there's no oil in it. So guess what? It's not going to burn. It's not going to give light. So it says, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out. And it says, but the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. So this is the wise virgins telling the foolish virgins, look, we just got enough just for us. So you got to go back to the buyers and sell. This is these guys that have left the knowledge, you know, that are trying to get back in. And the only way you're going to get back in is if you're part of the elect, which falls under the prodigal son, you know. And you know, and that's why they were trying to get the knowledge from the wise virgins, but the wise virgins said, nah, man, we just got enough to wait for the king, you know. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. You know, it says, afterwards came also the other virgins, the foolish ones, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh, because a lot of guys, because they don't see things happening fast enough, they start to lose faith, you know, and they give up, you know. But the elect will not give up, no matter how hairy it gets. All right, so now let's go from there. Yep, this is a good scripture that Brother GMS inquired early. Proverbs 21:20. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. And that's true. Yep, GMS Yaiquab, beautiful precept, Romans 13:12. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. And this is what's happening. The whole world is in darkness. So you see how the Spirit worked from this one precept, and how it just went into all those different precepts just off of reading, you know, this little bit right up to here, you know. And we're going to get back to that, Lord's will. But let's read this again. Isaiah 61. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon thee. And this is why it's important not to hide this knowledge. You know, we got to keep doing these lessons, going out in the streets teaching, you know, so that this word can be exalted. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. See, and so that's what's going to happen. The knowledge is being spread out just like the light, and people are seeing it. And to some people, it's beautiful, and to others, it's ugly. You know, it says, and the Gentiles, which are the Israelite foreigners, shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising, because the Lord is going to cause Israel to come back, you know. And then you're going to have the actual natural Gentiles that are going to actually in the kingdom. They're going to come to worship the Lord, because they're going to have no choice, you know. And the kings of these other nations, they're going to be servants, you know, as well as the other nations, you know. So these Gentiles here, and this is why you have Vocab, No Class, Mahon, you know, and Dr. James White, the Edomite, and them that are not Israelites. They're trying to come to the light, but they seeing that the light is not for them, so they're trying to stifle the light. But you can't stifle the light, man. This light is shining bright, man. It's shining very bright. So step off. Okay, so now let's go from there to 2 Corinthians 4:3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. So if anyone in this world is lost, regardless of they know the scriptures or not, the Most High allowed them to be blinded by the God of this world, which is who? Esau. And they're lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, who was the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. And it's not going to shine unto them unless they are part of the elect. All right. And now there's one more precept, and then Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So the Most High is the one that's breaking all this apart. So now going back here, it says, still reality never really sinks in for the people of the world. Hollywood and the PR gamers obscure the same evils humankind has endured for countless centuries. Meanwhile, and that's true, and this is why they put Hollywood and these different entertainment, all this different entertainment out there, to keep the mind of the people amused, you know, so that they won't be hip to the things that are going on. And this is the world, but it's also mainly here in America, because out of all the people of the world, the American public are the stupidest people on the planet. You know, I have to say that, and I have to agree and concur with that, because I've watched different people from around the world, and them people from around the world have more sense than they do here in America. Now, some of them are still bugged out, but these Americans, brother, whew, yeah, the brother Yakal Banya Yasha'Allah, bread and circuses, and that's what it's all about. And bread and circuses does what? It keeps the mind amused, to where you're not looking, to what's really going on in the world. It says, meanwhile, the real villains escape the justice they so richly deserve. And who's that? That's the international bankers. And this is why, let's see if I can find this precept. Let's see. Nope. Let's see this. Cheers. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. Let me try this one. Here it is. Ecclesiastes 8:14. It says, there is a vanity which is done upon the earth, and there be just men unto whom it happeneth according to the work of the wicked. So sometimes when the righteous man is punished, it's like, damn, are we wicked? Because we always constantly getting punished. But when you understand Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Lord said, whom he loveth, he chasteneth and rebuketh often. It says again, there be wicked men to whom it happeneth according to the work of the righteous. I said that this is also his vanity, and this is why they made this statement. Meanwhile, the real villains escape the justice they so richly deserve, and they deserve it. But you know what? They are going to get it eventually. Matter of fact, get this one precept, Nahum chapter 1 and 3. It says, the Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. So the wicked will not be acquitted. They won't get acquitted. These are international bankers. They're going to serve out their slavery. All you got to do is read James, the 5th chapter, the 1st to the 6th verse. You heard that vocab? Stop skipping over scriptures, man. It says, we are caught in a vise behind mostly invisible prison bars. And this is what's happening. They have the prison bars on the minds of these people out here. You see? And this is why only the elect are going to get it. Only the elect are going to be able to see, because the Most High is going to take away that veil and take away that darkness from off your eyes. Caught in individual cells fashioned by our own inaction. And pretty much inaction is not to be active, like saying inactive. And a lot of these people out here, they refuse to do any type of research whatsoever. All they want to do is go to McDonald's, eat fucking hamburgers and French fries, and listen to lousy music, get drunk, talk shit, party, but as far as looking into things that are really going on in the world, they don't want to do that. Now, there's nothing wrong with, having yourself a good time, a few drinks. Shit, after I finish this lesson, Yahweh Shem Shai Ratas, I'm hooking up some grub right now. And got me a little bottle of yayan. I'm gonna sip some yayan afterwards, But the people in the world, that's all they do. It's all about fun and games. So here's a window inside this cell you've locked yourself into, a view of inestimable treachery and evil. It says the deadly world order. Whatever else you may believe, you are imprisoned by your own human nature. In order that you understand, you must look at the ideas of the note English philosopher Thomas Hobbes for the first clues to today's craziness. You see how for Hobbes and others, the term good and evil were just synonyms for what humanity desires and for what we the people hate as individuals and as a collective. And that's not the case, because people of the world, they know right from wrong. There is a such thing in your body and you within yourself that tells you if something is right or something is wrong. You will know. And the Most High himself creates both evil and good. And he's the one that determines what is right and what is wrong. And when you look at it, it all makes sense, because righteousness is pure, it's clean, but wickedness is always corrupt. Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So the Most High creates both good and evil. Okay. So this guy, they were going off on that. It was because of a human tendency that Hobbes believed that the individual should not be allowed to decide for themselves what is good and what evil. Right. Only the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, should decide that. But what happened is, let's read on. Therefore, collective disaster could only be averted by delegating to a higher authority the task of deciding what's best. So pretty much you give the power over you to somebody that's over you to decide for you what's good and what's bad. And what do you think that individual is going to do if they're a wicked person? They're gonna deem or tell you the things that they feel within themselves are right and wrong. You know. So this is the situation that's going on. So these international bankers have put certain situations out here to where people have willingly given themselves over unto them, you know, and this is why they're in the condition that they're in, you know, because in I mean, it all goes back to prophecy. But if these people would have done what the so-called Constitution said, that if you have a government that's corrupt, you're supposed to take it down, this would have never got this far. But the reason why it got this far is because Yahweh Shem Shai has a plan to bring this place down. You see, but the people left that vigilance, they left off watching. It says, unfortunately for Hobbes and all his political theory kin, relinquishing such authority to other humans has led to calamity anyhow. For most people, it matters little whether or not some world order runs their lives or not, because they're idiots. The so-called New World Order used to be mentioned in wild stories about the famed Illuminati on the same pages that contain alleged pictures of Bigfoot or some bug-eyed alien. As I write this report, I am reminded of how Hollywood has immunized us all against aliens, close encounters of the third kind, and made the Wolf of Wall Street a kind of dark hero. Why? Because these things, they've been pushing it out there so much because they know that the chariots exist, but they've been pushing it out there so much that this is a hoax. This is you're bugged out if you think about this. Look, we've investigated every aspect of all these different encounters, all these different sightings, you know, and we come to the conclusion that the people were either hallucinating or they were bugged out or they might have ate a bad tuna fish sandwich. Apostle Elder Tara's favorite saying, you know, or something along those lines. And but by doing that, they desensitized people's minds. And this is what they do. They desensitize. Let's see what that word means. Desensitize. Let's see if I spell it correctly. Sensitize. Okay. Make less sensitive. Make someone less likely to feel shock or distress at scenes of cruelty, violence, or suffering by overexposure to such images. So by the overexposure of these movies, what is that? Of the third kind, some encounters of the third kind, and movies like War of the Worlds, the old and new one, you know, and different movies where they show chariots and they show them as bugged out stuff. People don't believe that these are beings that are heavenly inspired, are divinely inspired. They think that they're bugged out aliens, you know, and it's not. Desensitization, psychology, and psychology desensitization is defined as a diminished emotional responsiveness to a negative, aversive, or positive stimulus after repeated exposure to it. It also occurs when emotional response is repeatedly evoked in situations in which the action tendency that is associated with the emotion proves irrelevant or unnecessary. And this is why they keep throwing that stuff in your face. And this is why they keep saying Black Hebrew Israelites. They keep saying they're terrorists. They're offshoot of the Nation of Islam. You know, they're negative. They're this, that, the other. Why? Because it's constantly being pressed upon the people's minds, you know, and they're desensitizing them to wait a minute. Yeah, that's it right there, brother. Close encounters of the third kind, brother. I'm a one Issachar the water. You know, so they're desensitizing them, and they're putting that thing in their mind so that when the time comes for them to make a move, these people can already be like, see, we already knew that they was terrorists, you know, when all we doing is telling the truth. But it is said, you know, that in the time of great deceit, telling the truth is considered a revolutionary act, you know. Yep, that's right. Demashipat, the fourth kind also. That's right. And Shalom, you know, to the Akim on the common board. So let's go back. Matter of fact, before I read that, let's go to Isaiah 28 and work the precepts in there through the Spirit. Isaiah 28 and 21. For the Lord shall rise up in Mount Perazim He shall be wroth as in the valleys of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Because to the world, in the ancient world, it was nothing to see a chariot and for people to know what a chariot was, But nowadays, people have been desensitized to the point where they when you speak about it like a UFO or so-called UFO, because that's what they call them, they're looking at it to be like something strange. That's fiction. That's not reality. That's fiction. That's something that they brought out in a Hollywood movie. So the Most High is going to do his strange work. He's going to work that trying to fight saying that he'll work that sucker to death. But he's gonna work his great work, and it's going to be mysterious and strange to these people, because they're looking at it as it being some aliens that are out there, but they're the Yahushua and the angels that are out there, that are coming back to destroy this place, and along with destroying this place is also the salvation of the nation of Israel. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And that's what we're doing when we go out there to speak. It says when they see it, see what? They see when Yahushua and the angels come back in the chariots, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Why? Because they're going to be looking at it as aliens. They're not going to be looking at it as a divine intervention or the Heavenly Father's a host. They're going to be looking at it as aliens coming to attack the earth. It says they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, because not only are the chariots going to bring destruction and devastation to Esau, but they're also going to bring salvation to the elect of the nation of Israel. It says so far beyond all they look for. I want to read that again, but let's go to Zechariah chapter 5, because it's only going to be a threat to Esau, the other nations, and 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Now, you know what? I'm curious. What if I put flying roll in and go to images? Let's see what it. See? Behold, a flying roll. A chariot. Now some of these chariots, they're actually drawings, but you also have sightings where they actually appear as clouds. You have some sightings where they actually appear as lights in the heavens. And I was listening to these Edomites earlier. I was trying to get into it, but I couldn't really get into it. They were going into talking about Trump, but they were saying that I'm not sure if Trump was actually there, or some estate or some golf course that Trump has out in Scotland. They showed a picture of it too. There were actually like 4 chariots that were above, and for the most part, people scoff at that, So it says, so there was a flying roll, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Why? Because this earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. So since this curse has been given into the hands of the wicked, they have control of the whole earth, because they have a plan and a goal to bring in the so-called New World Order. But they're only gonna go so far with it. So the Lord put the chariots out there for a curse upon the people that govern this earth, that rule this earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So pretty much these devils they're the biggest thieves, and they make you swear in the court system. They have the Bible in the court system. They say in God we trust. The scriptures clearly tell you that you're not supposed to swear by heaven or by earth, because it is the Most High's throne and it is the Most High's footstool. But they still make you swear. So they're making you swear falsely, because the God that they're making you swear in on is Zeus, you know, is their other white meat, Serapis crispy, you know. It says, I will bring it forth, save the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. So who is the thief? Esau. And they're coming to kick Esau in the ass, and that's why they terrify Esau. It says, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, because they know the name of the Most High. And but they make you swear falsely, and they make you use other names. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof, because America will be totally wiped out by thermonuclear destruction and the fire or the lasers that come out of the chariots. Oh boy, we gotta. Is this a scoffer? Is this a scoffer? Yeah, sounds like a Rice Krispie stack. Goodbye. You could take that thumb and put it up your ass. Fuck out of here, man. You got no time for no foolishness, man. Serious business, and you got some fucking clown. Oh shit, yeah. You got some fucking clowns coming in here talking shit. Man, go find somewhere else to play, man. You know, some gay porn or something to play, motherfucker. Get out of here. Got no time for you fucking clowns. All right, so now let's go back here. So it says, now we're confronted with a new truth. Conspiracies are as real and as commonplace as today's news headlines. And the word conspiracy means with breathing or with breath, because you have a group of people that have the same thought in mind, and they're actually down for this particular action that they're going to take. You know, so it says, well, actually 2/3 of Israel shall be destroyed. So you're looking at 66.6% to be more precise, and that's only here in America. And then 33.3%, which represents the 1/3, is it will be delivered. It says, let me see. WikiLeaks reveals how a presidential candidate rigged the primary election. A U.S. soldier drops a dime on inhuman crimes committed in the name of freedom and democracy. A young geek working for the NASA spills the beans on massive breaches of America's right to privacy. A German car maker tweaks an auto line's onboard computer to lie to consumers and governments, and trillions of dollars just evaporate with no accounting. But the Illuminati running the show is crazy, as a crazy conspiracy theory. But this is what they want you to believe, you know. But what's happening is some of these insiders that are actually in there are actually spilling the beans. Matter of fact, let's go real quick to Psalms 64. And I just want to go straight to the point. 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And that's what's happening. And this is why a lot of this stuff has leaked out, you know, because insiders that were once a part of the so-called Illuminati, and wherever they want to call themselves, have actually come out and confessed, you know, the situations that were going on with them, you know, inside and the actual inner workings and the actual plans of the so-called Illuminati. It says, British writer and futurist H.G. Wells redefined the term New World Order for us by describing the establishment of a technocratic world state and a planned economy that would transform society into a kind of peaceful utopia. And it's not going to be a utopia. It's going to be a good place for the international bankers, or so they believe, and a bad place for the rest of the inhabitants of the earth, because you have a term utopia and you have the term dystopia. Now, dystopia, the DYS is bad, and topia is place. So dystopia is a bad place, which you can apply the term dystopia to America and to this world as a whole. And the utopia means it's supposed to mean good place, but it really means no place. And the reason why it's no place is because a utopia is pretty much a world where everything is peaceful and everybody has everything equally, you know, and everybody's happy. And that's not going to be the case. You know, the only ones that are going to be happy is the nation of Israel. And then these nations, once they serve their slavery, they're going to be in their position, but they're going to be tributary. So anyone that's tributary is not usually a happy camper, so to speak. You know, so this utopia that these devils are speaking about will never exist, because the only utopia would be amongst Israel, you know, not amongst these nations. It said Wells Forsyth was at one end of the spectrum, while evangelist Pat Robertson, which is a devil, two devils, in his 1991 best-selling book, The New World Order, envisages this New World Order as a vestige of the coming Antichrist. And they keep talking about Antichrist, Antichrist. Look, there are many Antichrists. It ain't just one. And no matter how many times you show them the scripture, it's just like it goes in one ear and out the other, you know? But let's get there real quick. St. John 2:18, I believe it is. Little children, it is the last time, and as you have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. So there are many Antichrists in the world, anti-messiahs. It's not just one individual person. There are many. And the individual nation of people that represent the anti-messiah is Esau, the so-called white man, which is against everything that's righteous. It says, to be sure, two extremes exist on either side of whatever mechanics control our system today. But in the Most High creates both sides. He creates good and he creates evil. And it has a perfect balance, and it has a perfect work on the earth. But the fact that former UK PM Gordon Brown and the notorious Dr. Henry Kissinger used the New World Order terminology to brand the reformed global financial system bears noting here. These two killers called for a new Bretton Woods that would certainly do in individual and national freedoms. And this Bretton Woods agreement, this is where they came to the conclusion to where the dollar would be the world reserve currency, and all nations would have to convert their money into the dollar before they could actually purchase goods on the planet. And I have a little excerpt here, and this would happen in 1944, and this is where the dollar became the world currency. All right, Bretton Woods system in 1944 agreements. It says, the 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement established a new global monetary system. It replaced the gold standard with the US dollar as a global currency. By so doing, it established America as a dominant power in the world economy. See, and this is what established America as a dominant power in the world economy. After the agreement was signed, America was the only country with the ability to print dollars. Why? Because you could only purchase these goods by the American dollar. You know, and this is why you have something called the petrodollar, which is you have to convert your money into the dollar bill in order for you to purchase any fuel or anything like that of the world. You know, which the dollar is being devalued as we speak, day by day. So these nations are losing money. Why? Because this dollar that these devils actually put up there, Salaki brothers, is actually what the scriptures call a false balance. We're gonna read this and read a little more of that, and then we'll close out. Well, it's actually the 19th chapter. My bad. Leviticus 19 and 35. Leviticus 19:35. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. And the dollar bill, these FRNs, are nothing more than false balances and false measures and false weights, because there is nothing that backs the dollar bill to make it of any force. And this is why the debt keeps skyrocketing, because there's nothing really there to actually back the dollar bill, you know. And that's why they constantly got to pour money into the pot, so to speak, to keep the dollar afloat, because there's nothing there to really substantiate the value of the dollar. It says just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall you have, you know. And this applies to the nation of Israel. But when this devil took on the Bible and said that they believe in the Bible, that they established America upon the Bible and so-called Christian principles, they pretty much took it upon themselves, you know, to hold on to the scriptures. So they bound themselves to keeping everything that's in there in the Bible, you know. So they pretty much put a curse on themselves. All right. So now let's go back here. It says the agreement created the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF. These U.S.-backed organizations would monitor the new system, and it goes into a little history on the Bretton Woods and how it replaced the gold standard, why it was needed. And like I said, I only read some of it. I didn't read all of it. But I know some brothers get into the financial aspect of the scriptures and of what's going on in the world. So I put this in the actual description box, you know. But pretty much, you know, you brothers can read the rest of this. You know, like I said, I didn't read a whole lot of it. It's almost over. I read it to about here somewhere. And then that's when I went and Spirit had me go into the Bretton Woods thing. And that's pretty much it. But pretty much these devils that are controlling the world globally, they've pretty much cornered the market financially, because that is pretty much the way you can control a nation, is by controlling their money. This is why Maya Angelou Bauer said, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. Because he who controls the money controls the laws, you know. And this country or this corporation is from the moment it was started all upon corruption, you know. And this is why when you read Isaiah 14, the Lord said he's going to destroy this place, you know. He's going to destroy it because it's corrupt. Matter of fact, I'll leave you with this precept which applied to Israel back in the days. Amos 9:8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, are upon the sinful kingdom, which today represents America. Back then it applied to Israel, but remember, all the curses of this book are now coming upon Esau. So whatever applied to us then is going to apply to them now. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the Lord is going to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel, and he's going to destroy Esau and the other nations here in America and 2/3 of Israel. But there will be the nobles and other nations, beginning with the Edomites, out there around the world that will not be touched by this destruction, because they're going to be the first ones to taste of slavery, and that's in hardcore slavery. So that's going to be part of our inheritance, to be able to have slaves and to be able to get exact vengeance upon those that revenge themselves upon us. So with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. Until the next time, I say shalom.